Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Hazardous. Today we're going to show you some underwater video of a couple bottom rigs I took while we were down in the Keys. There's two types of bottom rigs we like to use. One is like the chicken rig, some I think call it the knocker rig or like a drop loop rig, and the other is a sliding sinker rig. Today I'm going to show you underwater footage of each of these rigs to help you see what these rigs look like underwater, some of the issues you could face using them, and just give you a better feel for them so you can catch more fish. First off, the sliding egg sinker rig. We use this from anything in the river for fish like croaker and flounder to offshore fish such as red snapper. It was especially effective when we went to Alabama and fished for red snapper with Cousin Drew. That rig was doing really well there. So we've got some footage of those snappers and we'll show you what it kind of looks like. It's a very simple rig. It's just a hook tied to a leader, which is tied to a swivel, and then tied to the main line with an egg sinker that can slide on your main line. You can drop this rig down and you can let it back some. You can use a long leader for skittish fish. It can be a little more stealthy sometimes. It's got little advantages like that. So let's take a look. First off, we drop the rig down with a live pilchardge on it. We hook the pilchardge through the nose with a circle hook. It's pretty neat to see him how he's kind of fighting the rig. But in this case, you actually notice he's kind of tangled with the main line. So the sinker really can't slide. It's just kind of looped around it, wrapped around it. He dropped it back down for another test, and doesn't look to be tangled this time. No, it's not. That's good. Fish is swimming, pretty good looking. Still staying kind of close to the line, but interesting to see. I do like how the fish was swimming. So here's our third drop, and I like how the fish is kicking. He's really kicking hard. He's getting a little bit further away from the weight. I think more current. It would really kind of help keep this fish out of the way of the weight. So it is important when you hook the fish to make sure you have them hooked well. You can go through the nose, you can go through the tail or through the back. It'll make them swim differently. It's pretty cool. But make sure that the hook is exposed. I like to try to hook them and leave as much space for the hook to do its job. If you just put a glob of bait on that hook and it's pretty much covered up, it won't be able to hook the fish. That hook has got to be kind of exposed so it can do its job. The bait can actually get in the way of the hook and keep you from catching fish. So we dropped the same rig down, but with a dead piece of bait to see how that kind of would look, because that's a common bait we like to use. So in this example, the bait got tangled again with the weight a little bit. So that's going to affect it. It's harder to feel the fish biting. You need to have that connection, and when it's tangled, you won't have that. But one thing about the dead bait is it doesn't swim close to the line. So if you do have a good drop, it's actually going to float back, give you a little more distance, a little more stealth. So that's nice too. I like how that kind of goes back and stays away. I think it keeps it away from your sinker. Kind of gives you a better connection because it's in a line. You got your bait, then your weight, and then of course your main line. Before with the live bait's swimming up and your weight's down. It's kind of like a weird, you're not going to feel it as much. It's not as in line. You don't have that good connection. But obviously live bait is a great choice of bait and it works good and it look good. So this next example is with the knocker rig or the chicken rig, whatever you want to call it. With the chicken rig, you can do multiple hooks or you can do a single hook. We like to use the chicken rig for fish such as Vermilon Snapper, Triggerfish, sea bass, fish like that. And we'll do double hooks with those because they're not as big. If we were fishing for bigger fish, we'd probably do one single hook. And we use like the single hook rig with a bigger 7/0 hook for fish like big red snapper or big bull redfish. So in this example, we have the dropper, the chicken rig, and we've got two pieces of dead bait. And one tip when using the chicken rig is make sure those two hooks can't reach each other. You don't want them so long that these offshoot little rigs, hooks, can get tangled in each other, because they will. And again, here we have plenty of hook exposed. I like how that looks. I think that'll help catch fish. Now this rig, it doesn't seem to tangle in some ways like the other one does. In this case, we have live bait. And I think they look really good. I like how they're swimming there back and forth. They're pretty active. I think having 2 live baits on there like that really kind of distracts the fish, gets a little competition going. Maybe they don't see the weight as much, something like that. Interesting how these fish are reacting to them. Okay, and I like how that's working. Hooking them through the nose is keeping the hook exposed, so that's good. Letting these baits down fast doesn't appear to be as much as an issue as with the sliding sinker rig. The sliding sinker rig, I think if that goes down too fast, well then the bait comes around and kind of gets tangled up. But with the weight being at the very bottom and these fish kind of suspended above the weight, you can drop them down, and I don't think going down as fast with this rig will be an issue. With a sliding egg sinker, if you're getting a lot of tangles or you're not feeling as well, try a smaller weight or letting your bait down slower. So we did multiple drops with the live bait, and they all really look good to me each time. So what did I learn from all this? First of all is the sliding egg sinker. You don't want to let it down too fast because I think it's going to get tangled and you're not going to get a good hook feel. I really like how the sliding egg sinker did with dead bait. This seemed to float very naturally, looked really good. Live bait, I'm sure it's effective, but I'd really like to try what I'll do next time is I'm going to hook that bait close to the tail so he swims away from the sinker. I think that'll make him not get tangled as bad. I think that'll keep him further away, give me a better connection. I think that hook them that way will work better on the sliding egg sinker. I like how the dropper rig worked. It doesn't seem as stealthy as a rig. I think that rig works really well when you're deep, which is probably why it's a really popular deep dropping rig, because you can put a big old sinker on it and drop it down and your baits won't really get that tangled. You'll still catch fish. You can only get so big of an egg sinker, and then that going down, it's probably going to get all tangled. So I wouldn't recommend that for deep dropping. Hope you guys learned some things from this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing what those baits and rigs look like. I think it'll help. I know it helps me kind of get an idea for what the fish are liking. And obviously if fish are hungry, they're going to eat. But I think seeing these rigs helped me to know, okay, are my baits getting tangled? Is this rig per se working? What can I do to tweak my rig? And I've got a better feel for how slow I'm going to let certain baits down, how I'm going to hook certain baits. It gives me a lot of ideas to try. Hope it gives you guys some ideas as well. If you got some suggestions or tips or thoughts, please comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see some more videos like this, just let me know. I'll try some other rigs and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you guys next time.